Oh, what's up, Trojan Nation? Welcome to the USC LAFB show. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Red hot. The Trojans recruiting right now are absolutely red hot. And I know it's March. We have a long way to go. But there is a lot of excitement around this program. The most excitement I have seen probably since I've been covering the team back in the Clay Helton era for sure. And even maybe more so than Lincoln Riley's first year with Caleb Williams. Just saying a lot because there was a lot of momentum that year. He comes over, revives the program, win 11 games. Caleb wins the Heisman. And maybe it's just because I'm more in tune with recruiting than I was back then, but this is the most like productive I've seen USC recruiting efforts and the most excitement I've seen from not just the recruits, but also, the fan base as well. So lot to get into. Here we are on a rainy LA Tuesday with a quick recruiting update, as I said, here on the USC LAFB show. So thank you, as always, Trojan family, for making us a part of your day, making the LAFB network a part of your day. Means the world to us. Our show is brought to you by our friends over at BetOnline. Make sure to head to betonline.ag for all of your betting and wagering needs. Got the best game lines, best spreads, every sport you can think of. They even got like the hot dog eating contest coming in July. So they got you covered. Everything you can imagine on BetOnline. We got Kings hockey playoffs coming up. We got Lakers red hot playoffs coming up. Dodgers baseball kicks off, and I always feel weird saying kicks off for baseball, but Dodgers take the mound in Tokyo in 8 days, 7 days. So, and then obviously football, it's going to be here before we know it. So everything you can do at betonline.ag. Tell them the LAFB network sent you. So we've gotten 3 commitments in the last 24 hours. USC's recruiting class is now number 1 ranked recruiting class across all recruiting platforms. And USC is trending for multiple others. Besides the ones that I've already talked about over the last 2 weeks, there's new, crystal balls and new predictions coming in for players. So I'm going to get to all of it, kind of go rapid and fast and furious, if you will. So let's just start with yesterday. First commitment that comes in yesterday afternoon, John Fafita, interior offensive lineman goes to St. Francis in Mountain View, California. So adds to that California mystique of recruits. He was offered not even 24 hours prior. So got an offer from SC, and similar to Andrew Williams, who committed the John C. Fremont high school product here right in Los Angeles, basically the same thing. They got offered and committed. I mean, they could have committed on the spot. The announcement just came 24 hours or so later. But when they basically, each of them announced they got an offer, and then within that 24-hour period announced they were committing. So obviously thrilled. He's thrilled to be a Trojan, and that's what you want. 3-star guys. So I know maybe fans aren't as excited about that, but here's a guy that's 6'6", 350 pounds. Like I said, he's an interior offensive lineman. Probably too big to swing to tackle, but because of the height, if needed, could probably swing out there. I haven't watched a ton of his tape yet to see kind of the footwork and the athleticism. To see if he has that ability. But either way, being recruited as an interior guy, and I mean that size going into your senior year, I mean, I just can't even imagine. 6'6", 350. That's a mountain. That is a mountain. So 3-star product, but still, I think this is a really good ad. It was at the time, which I'll get to here in a minute, but at the time, the first offensive line commit in this 26 class. So we knew a lot were going to be coming. We know when Josh Henson was running the offensive line, typically we'd see about 5 offensive line commits per class. Now Coach Zach Hansen takes over that. We'll see if that number stays. I assume that's more of kind of a Lincoln Riley want. So I assume that they're going to add in that 4 to 5 range. So now with this one, they can get the ball rolling to add many more. And again, we've talked about it we've talked about it in the show. We've written about it on the LFB Network. There's a lot of other prospects that are trending. Utah kids, Cali kids, even some of the Deep South kids in the trenches that are really trending well for the Trojans. And I think Zach Hansen has done a great job in recruiting California early on. Got a great job at recruiting Utah. I think he was instrumental a little bit in Aaron Dunn. I know Josh Henson. It's so confused. Josh Henson, Zach Hansen. I know Josh Henson was the O-line coach and the main probably recruiter for that, but I think Zach Henson was a lot more involved than maybe people knew as the tight end coach. So now that he's fully taken over the offensive line, I think he's built good relationships in Utah, obviously in California as they continue. So that was a good one. John Fafita, again, 3-star, but added to the class. Oregon, I don't even have the name in front of me, so I'm not even gonna try to butcher it. But they had a 4-star offensive line class decommit yesterday, so that decommitment automatically bumped USC up to number 1. They were already number 1 on 247 and Rivals. That bumped them up to number 1 on Three's rankings, and the addition of Fafita just further pulled them away. So good day yesterday. They were trending up on some other ones. I'll just say this as to go in a timeline, if you will. Brandon Arrington. That's probably the name we're looking at most right now in this class. Probably Brandon Arrington. Probably Mark Bowman, the tight end. Probably Tom, the big defensive lineman modern day who's committed to Oregon. And probably Chris Henry. Those are probably the 4 kind of biggest developments we've been watching the last couple of weeks, and we're going to continue to watch down the line just because, A, they're all local kids. I think all of them actually I just listed go to modern day. No, Brandon Arrington is in La Mesa, San Diego County. So aside from him, the other 3 are all modern day kids, but all, elite, top-tier 4-star or 5-star prospects that are trending well for USC. So Brandon Arrington, I've talked about him before, so I won't spend a ton of time, but he's listed as an athlete. He's officially now listed as a corner on most recruiting things. I know USC for sure views him as a corner. His primary recruiter has been Doug Belk, and Trayvon Reed's obviously been involved in that as well. Lincoln Riley, of course, as well. But seen as a corner, not as a receiver. So that's what he will play for sure at SC at the next level. And throughout this process, Texas A&M has kind of always been the leader. Oregon obviously been involved. Alabama kind of took that leader, according to Steve Wiltfong of On3. He said that he thought Alabama was kind of the leader in the clubhouse just a few weeks ago. Now, USC has always been in it. Obviously he's a local kid. He's from La Mesa, which is where Reggie Bush is from. They went to different high schools. He goes to Mount something. Reggie Bush went to Helix. So different high schools, but same community. La Mesa, California. Not that that means a lot, but, there's little connections, especially when you go to the same place as one of the greatest Trojans of all time. So USC's always been in it. And then a few weeks ago, I want to say, I think it was a few weeks ago, Arrington posted a photo of him and Adoree Jackson. Cool. Adoree Jackson, one of the greatest ever, played corner. Was a true athlete return specialist with Arrington can be because he's a track star. So you posted that photo, and hey, these kids are, I think they're having a lot of fun with recruiting. Also, they know what gets fans riled up. They're smart in this, and okay, what can I get engagement? Good for you. Absolutely enjoy the process. You only get recruited once. You should absolutely enjoy it. That's why a lot of times I think kids should just wait to commit to almost the very end. Enjoy it. Once you commit, then it's you have everyone coming after you, and it's you get pulled well, I'm already committed, but I do still want to do it on visit. So anyway, that's another conversation. Posted that a couple weeks ago, and then just yesterday posted, it may have been the same photo or same day, but it was him, Adoree Jackson, and Jakeem Stewart. So I'm assuming it was from the same visit at USC. And with the caption family, another great, that's cool. Obviously he's viewing USC highly. Then a couple hours after that, he posts essentially, yeah, this is home. Now, that could not have anything to do with SC. That could mean Alabama. That could mean Oregon. That could be not even related. He's just trying to rile people up. But, posting an SC photo saying family, and then very right after that saying, yeah, this is home. We can put the breadcrumbs together. We can read the tea leaves. It certainly feels like Arrington is feeling pretty confident with USC. Which is great. And I think that's, again, one of the highest prospects in the entire country. He's top 10 overall. I don't have it right now. I don't want to be searching for it, but he's a top 10 prospect in the entire country, number 2 corner, I think, depending which rankings you go off of. So that's the latest on him. We'll see. He does have visits still scheduled with A&M. With Oregon. His final visit is with SC on the weekend of June 17th. So as of now, that's his final official visit. We'll see if any others get added after the fact, which I think the last weekend in June is the last officials you can do, if I'm not mistaken. So he only has one more weekend, I think, that he could book another one. So based on that now, USC has the last say, similar to like they did with Jakeem Stewart, or I think Jakeem Stewart had one more after, but they were like at the very tail end. So we'll see. And I'm saying last officials in summer, they can obviously then take officials in the fall once school's back in session. So, but yeah, latest on that. So then we get to today. There's a lot of momentum from yesterday. They get John Fafita's commitment. Now today, they get 2 commitments. Now I'll start with receiver that's been trending to SC, goes to the same high school as Samote Katanga, the Edge, Rancho Santa Margarita, and that's Trent Mosley. Got a crystal ball a little while ago, kind of shortly after Katanga actually committed, but officially today committed to USC. 4-star receiver, 30th ranked receiver in the league, or in the country, I should say. Super talented kid, again, local kid, which we always love to see. I mean, I think when you look at these receivers, you look at their skill set, what they can do versus what stars they are. Because in this offense with Lincoln Riley, 5-star, 4-star, like, is it going to make that big of a difference? Maybe. I mean, Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon were 4 stars. Zach Branch was a 5-star. Nothing against Zach Branch. He's gone. Lane and Mekhi are here and have, I think, really, really high, not just expectations, but ceilings. And we saw that in this offense. Again, nothing against Zach Branch, but Lane and Mekhi were 4 stars. So I'm just saying that, like, people, if you see, like, oh man, he's only the 30th ranked 4-star, like, we should be getting 5-star receivers. Like, what are we doing? First of all, we probably are. We're in the running for quite a few 5-stars right now. One being Chris Henry at Modern Day. Obviously, he's committed to Ohio State, but that's definitely a flip to watch. But Trent Mosley, I think, fits really well within this offensive system. As of now, he's 5'11", 170. He'll put on some weight. His sophomore year, so 2 years ago, he won Trinity League Player of the Year. And that's not just some scrub league. The Trinity League is the best league in high school football. And he was the Trinity League Player of the Year. Had like 1,200 yards receiving, double-digit touchdowns. Oh, and then also rushed for like 500 yards and 7 additional touchdowns. Last year, missed 4 games, still almost 1,000-yard rusher, double-digit touchdown getter in the air and on the ground. So very, very talented athlete. Definitely a guy with some speed, breakaway speed. Could be used in the bubble screen game, which obviously it felt like that is, at the beginning at least, what Lincoln Riley was trying to get Zachariah Branch to be great at. And there were moments he was. And then for whatever reason this season, whether it was he lost a step or teams were just sniffing it out, knowing if he was, leaking out of the backfield, that was the play design, but just was not successful. And then, when they tried to utilize him more like over the middle and on other routes, it just didn't work. For whatever reason, blame whoever you want, it just didn't work. Trent Mosley, I think, can be that, what Lincoln Riley wants. Like, you have Mekhi, and again, we're talking a year down the line. We still have the 25 season. And I'm really excited to see Xavier Jordan this year, who was a freshman last year that we didn't get to see at all. Excited to see how he fits. But, I think with what these players can do, Mosley will be a guy with now Baker, who's in this class, who's the second receiver in this class, I think will fit nicely. So another great commitment there. Then just a few hours later, they add to that offensive line room 4-star out of Utah. Remember, I teased that Zach Hansen's really cornering the Utah market. Isan Tafa, 4-star, 6'5", 290. Another interior guy out of Utah. 15th ranked interior offensive lineman. 5th overall player in the state of Utah. Another big body. 290 right now. He'll put on weight. By the time he's here at SC, he'll be 330, I bet, if they want to keep him in that interior spot, which I think that size is like perfect. 6'5", 310, 320, 330. You're like a Big Ten guard, Big Ten center. So this is a big one, though. I mean, this, again, nothing against John Fafita, who I really like, but here's a true 4-star with a lot of talent, a lot of skill. I think he's gonna climb up rankings as the season goes, or I should say, as he plays his senior season. So another great addition, bringing USC further into the number one spot in the rankings. So as they should be, right? USC should be vying for that number one top spot. So those are the three additions. All big, all great, I think. 2 Cali kids, 1 from Utah. I mean, I think that's speaks volumes. Brandon Arrington update. Again, it's not dumb, but it's looking good for SC. And then I think the two last ones I'll mention. Tight end Mark Bowman is, number one tight end in the class. Kind of goes back, not necessarily him, but the predictions go back and forth. USC, Oregon, I think Alabama's been in there. Georgia's been in there. The usual big hitters when you're going for the number one player of a position. As of now, I think SC feels pretty good. Based on what I've read, what I've heard, who I've talked to, USC feels pretty good about it. He, for those who don't know, was a 2027 player, reclassified to 2026, still remained the number one tight end. That's how good this kid is. And was just on USC's campus just recently and kind of spoke very highly about the campus, the team, the program, the direction, and what the 2026 class is shaping out to be. I think that's the other exciting thing, is that you hear these kids talk about how special those 26 classes, and they want to be a part of it. I mean, it's that FOMO thing, right? Like, you don't want to miss out, that fear of missing out. And if you're seeing this class, this generational class being put together, you want to be a part of that. There's those that want to be a part of it, and there's those that want to, challenge it. Like, oh, no, I'm going to go somewhere else and prove that I was better than what could be there. So I'm not going to do that. That's fine. But I think a lot, especially when you're getting kids from this area that all played against each other, that know each other, specifically some that are played with each other. We talk about the Rancho Santa Maria kids. We talk about the modern day kids. Obviously, Orange Lutheran, there's kids they're going after. Bosco, there's kids. I mean, I could just list all the schools. Sierra Canyon is getting a good pipeline right now. So Mark Bowman, I think, is trending well. We'll see what that ends up looking like, but he's trending well. And the last one I'll talk about, running back out of Oaks Christian, Deshaun Rideau, just received a crystal ball for USC. So again, not a full commitment. Crystal balls have usually been pretty accurate from the on-3 guys and the 247 guys when they give them. There's usually some intel there when that happens, so it's fairly likely. But yeah, he's I believe the 12th ranked running back in the overall class, one behind Sean Alston, who's already committed to SC, kid out of Ohio. So you could probably, if he does commit, you could probably close the running back recruiting for this class. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if they end up adding a third or even maybe a fourth. But if you get 2 here, you could be in a really good spot, especially having 2 top 15 running backs. Rideau's, a track athlete also. So he's 5'10", 5'11", 195. So good size. Can certainly get to probably 205 at the collegiate level, which is great size from between the tackles, but has breakaway speed. I mean, he's a track star. He can catch balls out of the backfield. 247, Greg Biggins gave him a player comp of Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit Lions running back, which is kind of that do-it-all gadget switch army knife. Can definitely run between the tackles, but is lethal catching the ball in the backfield, has that breakaway speed. So I think he would be a very good addition to this class. And just going with the theme, local kid. Oaks Christian out in Westlake. So keeping another Cali kid home, which is the theme of this class and hopefully the theme of this program moving forward, which it certainly seems to be. So there you have it. Drop a comment below what you think about these 3 additions. Again, John Fafita committing, Trent Mosley committing, and the interior offense lineman Eason Taffa committing. Others are on the way. This is just getting started, just getting ramped up. And again, with these local kids, it's a lot easier to hang on to them for the next 6 months instead of sweating it out. So that's 14 total commits for those doing math. I believe 10 of those 14 are Cali kids. Nice 64% in-state commitment rate. Gotta love that. And more coming. More coming, which I think is it's just there's just a lot of momentum around this program, which I think a lot of people have to be excited about. The last thing, and I'm out of here. Cody Green, another modern day kid, 5-star, 4-star, depending where you look, 4-star offensive tackle. I think he's the 4th ranked tackle in the whole class. Modern day kid, committed to Oregon, was just on USC's campus for an unofficial visit. I want to say yesterday. I want to say, or maybe it was a few days ago, but within this week, was on campus for an unofficial visit. So, haven't heard he's for sure flipping or anything like that, but there's obviously interest there. And I think he's seeing too, like, oh, my teammate Mark Bowman is interested. Chris Henry, he's interested. Like, all these other modern day kids now are all of a sudden taking a real notice to SC. And so he is too, and that would be another huge flip. Tom is the other modern day kid that I know. Tom was just on campus, I think yesterday. Posted a photo being on campus talking with Chad Savage at the Collie. Man, I would love to be a fly on the wall hearing that. Hearing Chad Savage at work. Just hearing his pitch. The guy's got to be just a stellar salesman. Right? I mean, he's just doing work. And what's great about having Chad Savage is it allows the coaches to truly do what they're supposed to do and coach. Like, as a college coach, you have to recruit, for sure. And Lincoln Riley, whatever anyone says, Lincoln Riley is one of the best recruiters in college football. I think Dennis Simmons doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion. I think he's an underrated wide receiver recruiter. He's a lot quieter, different, but he's an underrated recruiter. Chad Savage, we talked about, one of the best recruiters. Dan Lynn, again, is kind of new to the recruiting game, but I think his scheme and his personality speaks for itself. Coach Henney, one of the best recruiters in football. Doug Belk, one of the best recruiters in college football. Trevon Reed, phenomenal recruiter. Rob Ryan, brand new to recruiting, but it's Rob frickin' Ryan. So all these guys have to recruit, but they should never be having to deal with NIL or any of that stuff. They should be going to these living rooms, building relationships, telling kids how they're going to develop them, what they're building at USC, what they can offer with the USC football program that sets them up for life. It should end there. Then Chad Savage comes in and says, oh, yeah, and here's what we can do for NIL, here's what we can do for business, here's what we can do for entertainment. That's Chad Savage's realm. Lincoln Riley should not be pitching kids NIL packages. Not saying he did that, but it kind of like he almost pseudo had to the last couple years. Now they have it. It's like separated but together in unison. And that's why we're seeing the success. Now, long way to go. Got to continue it. But man, Trojans are red hot right now. Number 1 recruiting class and more coming. Thank you all, as always, for hanging out with me. Drop a comment below. If you're on YouTube, USC LAFB is the YouTube channel. If you're not there, please head there. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. If you're on podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, just search Salute to Troy. Or all of our USC content, along with all of our Los Angeles sports content, can be found at LAFBnetwork.com. I'm Ryan Dyer. Thanks again. Promise, crazy offseason. We'll be doing shows again with Coach, with Madman. Tim Prangley, for those who know Tim, love Tim. He's going to be doing a lot more with us moving forward. We're trying to work out schedules and all, but Tim's going to be doing a lot, hopefully some lives with us and whatnot. Love Tim, one of the best guys I know, loves USC football, so he's going to be an awesome addition here at the LAFB Network. So look out for that as that will be coming soon. But thank you all, everyone. Be well, and as always, fight on.